Good morning. This is the Bastrop County Court at Law, August 27, 2021. The court calls number 2020110 in the interest of Tucker Child. This is a final hearing being conducted by Zoom during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Nisenblatt, would you like to make your announcement on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Oscar Nisenblatt, attorney for the department, and the department is ready to proceed.
Mr. McDonald?
Present and attorney ad litem for the child.
Mr. Jenkins?
Your Honor, Will Jenkins representing the mother, Samantha Isaacs. We're ready.
Okay, is Mr. DeClue participating in this hearing?
Your Honor, this is Oscar Nisenblatt. I do not know if he's going to participate. He filed his report last night, and that he stated that he, I guess, concurred with the due diligence of the department regarding unknown father and requested to be dismissed.
Okay, I am now aware of Mr. DeClue's filing. It is entitled Attorney Ad Litem's Summary of Efforts to Identify or Locate an Alleged Parent or a Parent whose identity or location is unknown or who has been served with citation by publication. Is there any objection to my taking judicial notice of this?
No objection.
No objection from the department.
No, sir.
Thank you. I will take judicial notice of that and not require Mr. DeClue to be present for this hearing. Mr. Nisenblatt, what is CPS asking for today?
Your Honor, at this time, the department's asking for termination of the parental rights of the mother, Samantha Isaacs, and the unknown father.
Okay, and who do you anticipate calling as witnesses?
I will be calling Investigative Supervisor Kayla Kilman and caseworker Katie Degadillo, as well as any questions for CASA should that be needed.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins, would you like to make any opening statement at this time as well?
No, Your Honor, other than to say that Miss Isaacs has not been in contact with me in some time, and I understand from talking to Miss Delgadillo that that's true of the department too. So I'm at a bit of a disadvantage, not being able to locate or have any type of meaningful attorney-client relationship with Miss Isaacs.
Mr. McDonald, would you like to make an opening statement at this time?
I just understand that CASA has done an amazing job, and they're doing a transition to a new caregiver of sorts. I believe it's a Dana Isaacs. No, let me check my folder. But I think that what the department has done so far is pretty great, and I don't have any objection to what they've done so far as far as finding placement for this child. I know a little bit about the family that it was with and who they're going to move it to right now. I just hope it all works out and it continues going forward from here.
Are you advocating for termination of parental rights?
I believe that's in the best interest of the child, just to their lack of interest so far that's been shown. I mean, there is no father present as far as anyone knows that is actually a biological father, or even the father was on the birth certificate. He seems to have lost interest. So yes, I would advocate termination of Ms. Isaacs if she's not actually taking part of any of the services anymore.
Okay. And this child is too young to express a position that you would advocate for, and you're substituting your judgment as the attorney ad litem because of the age of the child. Is that correct?
Yes, if you're asking me something.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Mr. Nisenblatt, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I begin questioning Supervisor Kayla Kilman, I would request the court take judicial notice of the affidavit of due diligence filed by the department regarding the unknown father, as well as the paternity search that we received from the Department of Vital Statistics. That's also part of the court's file.
Any objection?
No, sir.
Will?
Okay. I'd like to call Investigator Supervisor Kayla Kilman.
Would all the potential witnesses raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, let me, Mr. DeClue is now in the Zoom hearing. And Mr. DeClue, let me inform you that I have taken judicial notice of your report. And I did not require you to be in the hearing. I stated that just a moment ago, but you are certainly welcome to be in the hearing. So
I apologize for being late, Your Honor. I was going to just ask to be discharged anyway, but I apologize for being late.
okay. Do you want me to rule on that now, or I didn't discharge you in the previous ruling. I just ruled that you didn't need to be present. But if you would like to wait till the end of the hearing, that would be fine too.
Well, I prefer to be discharged if that's okay, and I'm sorry to interrupt and be late.
No, any objection?
No.
No objection.
Okay, that is granted.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ms. Black.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kilman, will you please state the name of the child subject to this suit?
Liam Russell Tucker.
And how old was this child at the time of removal?
At the time of the removal and we got involved, he was 1 day old.
And what allegations did the department receive regarding the safety of this child?
The intake received was concerns that Miss Isaacs had a baby, not in a hospital without seeking any medical attention, that the baby was born a month premature. There were concerns that she and Mr. Tucker had not sought out medical treatment because of their methamphetamine use, and that they had delivered the baby in the home and tied off his umbilical cord with a zip tie.
Okay. And were the concerns of drug use substantiated by the investigation?
Yes.
And does the department consider this kind of removal abuse and neglect removal?
Yes.
And where was Ms. Isaacs living at the time?
At the time of the removal, I'm not sure where she was living.
And can you tell the court how the department confirmed drug use by Samantha Isaacs?
She admitted to methamphetamine use.
Okay.
And we also had her submit to an oral drug test, which she was positive for at the time for methamphetamine use.
And at the time of the removal, did they identify someone as the father of this child?
Yes, at the time of the removal, it was believed that Mr. Tucker was the father of the child.
And does the department still hold that belief?
I don't know the circumstances on that, but I don't know that. I believe that he is not the father, but I don't personally know what the department knows with regards to that.
Okay. But as far as investigation knows, that's why the department proceeded with Mr. Tucker as the father.
Yes, at the time that we did the removal, he was 100% certain that he was the father at the time of the removal.
And where did the department place this child at the time of the removal?
He was placed with family. I believe it was a paternal aunt and uncle.
And did the investigation reveal that there was some history regarding Samantha Isaacs?
Yes.
And what kind of history would the department have with Samantha?
She had previous removal history regarding 2 other children who were also born positive for drugs and had methamphetamine use during those as well.
I'd like to pass this witness.
Mr. Jenkins, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, how is it that you are aware of her prior history? Do you have personal knowledge, or is that just from searching the department's record?
From our records.
Okay, so you don't have personal knowledge of her CPS history.
I was not the supervisor at that time, no.
And nor were you the caseworker on any of those cases.
No, sir.
Have you ever had contact with Miss Isaacs?
No, sir.
Would the caseworker, Katie Delgadillo, know more about that than you?
With interaction with the mother, yes.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Mr. McDonald, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nissenblatt, anything further from this witness?
Yeah, Ms. Kilman, as the supervisor, are you authorized to look at the records maintained by the department?
Yes.
And is it actually part of your duty to review historical records regarding a particular parent or child?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Next witness?
May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to call caseworker Katie Delgadillo.
Oh, she's been sworn. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Delgadillo, will you please state your full name for the record?
Katrina Delgadillo.
And what is your role in this case?
I'm the CVS caseworker for this case.
Okay. And who was the biological mother in this case?
Samantha Isaacs.
Okay. And who was the biological father in this case?
At their time of removal, Wesley Tucker.
Who was the biological father in this case?
We proved that Wesley Tucker was not the father.
So is the biological father unknown?
Yes, sir.
And how did the department come to know that Wesley Tucker was not the father?
A paternity test.
Okay. And has that paternity test been filed with the court?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, the department requests the court take judicial notice of the paternity test filed with the court.
Any objection?
No, sir.
I will.
Thank you, Your Honor. And this court has previously taken judicial notice of your due diligence affidavit. Is there any other efforts or facts to make the court aware regarding the department's attempt to find or identify the biological father?
Not more than that, no, sir.
Regarding Samantha Isaacs, have you been in contact with her since the beginning of the case?
Yes, sir, I have.
And did you help develop a service plan for
Yes,
her
sir, I did.
okay. And was she given a copy of this plan?
Yes, sir, she was.
Okay. And was that plan presented to the court for review and approval?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. And did this court adopt that plan and make it an order of this court?
Yes, sir, they did.
Okay. And do you recall about when that occurred?
It would have been at the status, which was, no, I'm sorry. 4/7, yes, sir.
Of what year?
2020.
Okay. So it's been over a year.
Yes, sir, it has.
Okay. And has she completed the terms of that service plan?
No, sir, she is not.
Has she been in contact with you during this case?
Not more than me reaching out with her, no.
Has she visited with this child since the removal?
No, sir, she is not.
Has she sent you any communications to be directed to the child in any way?
No, sir, she is not.
Any gifts
No, sir.
for the child? Okay. And it was testified to that this child was 1 day old at the time of removal. Has Ms. Isaacs spent any time with this child since the removal?
No, sir, she is not.
And did you provide your contact information to Ms. Isaacs at the time
Yes, sir, I
of
have.
y'all's conference? Okay. And where has Ms. Isaacs been, as far as your knowledge, for a majority of this case?
Incarcerated in Bastrop County, and then she moved to East Texas facility.
And during her time while she was incarcerated, did you attempt contact with her?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you provide her with services or a incarcerated parent packet?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did she return any of that information to you?
No, sir, she did not.
To your knowledge, has she been released from incarceration?
Yes, sir, she has been.
Okay. And to your knowledge, when did that occur?
March 31st, 2021.
So for the last month, has she done anything or put forth any effort to communicate with you?
No, sir, she has not.
Has she put forth any effort to make contact with the child?
No, sir, she has not.
Do you have any indication or facts that Ms. Isaacs can provide a safe and appropriate environment for this child?
No, sir, I do not.
As a caseworker, have you, has Ms. Isaacs shown you any parental abilities?
No, sir, she has not.
And where has this child been placed up until yesterday?
We call it a fictive kin placement. It was the alleged father's great aunt.
Okay. And it's my understanding that that placement has put in notice. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And can you explain a little bit for the record what that means to put in notice to the department?
It means that they are no longer willing to be the primary caregiver of the child.
And has the department found an alternative place for this child?
Yes, sir, we have.
And who is the department, if the court were to grant the termination of parental rights, who is the department requesting of this court to place the child with?
Danya Tovar, who's the backup caregiver.
And what kind of relationship does Danya Tovar have with this child?
She has a very meaningful relationship with him. She's been involved in his life for a whole year and has been backup caregiver this entire time.
Okay. And has the department done a home study for Ms. Tovar? And has it been approved?
It has.
And have you had the opportunity to observe Ms. Tovar with this child?
Yes, sir, I have.
And does the department feel that Ms. Tovar can provide for this child's current and future emotional and physical needs?
Yes, sir, we do.
Do you feel this child has bonded with Ms. Tovar during their visits?
Yes. Yes, sir, I do.
And is that the permanency plan should this court terminate the parental rights of the unknown father and Samantha Isaacs? That the child be placed with Ms. Tovar for long-term, possibly adoption?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe the termination of the parental rights of Samantha Isaacs is in the best interest of this child?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you believe that the termination of the unknown father would be in the best interest of this child?
Yes, sir, I do.
And would that clear the hurdle and allow Mr. Tovar to proceed with the adoption of this child so he can have a forever home?
Yes, sir, it would.
Pass this witness.
Mr. Jenkins, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, sir. Mr. Nisenblatt asked you if you had delivered an incarcerated packet. Is that so an inmate that is locked up can work services?
Yes, sir, it is.
And those services are offered in the Bastrop County Jail?
It's a packet that she could read over and answer all the questions and send back to us.
Do you know how long she was incarcerated in the Bastrop County Jail?
Until October 2nd of 2020.
And then she was transported to East Texas for an outstanding warrant or another case, or why was she transported there?
She was transported there for a substance abuse track and a cognitive track on her criminal case.
Do you know if where she was in East Texas?
It's just called East Texas Multi-Use Facility.
Or are they allowed to provide services, or do they provide services for folks with CPS cases there?
They do. I just don't know what exactly they provided her at this time.
And for folks that are incarcerated, how do they, are they able to have visits with their children that are in the department's care?
No, they are not.
So the fact that she was incarcerated would not allow her to have any visits with her child. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was it your testimony that Miss Isaacs did not contact you when she was released from jail roughly a month ago?
Yes, sir, it was.
She has had no contact with you?
No,
Is that
sir,
correct?
she is not.
Is Miss Isaacs aware of where the child is placed?
Yes, sir, she is.
Do you know if that placement has had any contact with Miss Isaacs?
They stated as of yesterday, she has not called or come by. No, sir.
Okay, Ms. Delgadillo, thank you for your time.
Mr. McDonald, do you have questions?
No, I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions from you, Mr. Nisenblatt, for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional witnesses?
Your Honor, I would like to reserve any questions for after CASA's report, if I may.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, do you have any testimony to present?
No, sir.
Mr. McDonald, do you have any testimony to present?
No, sir.
Okay, CASA?
CASA is in agreement with terminating the parents' rights. Liam is doing wonderful in his placement. He was doing great with the fictive kin, and he's doing great with the backup, which is now Danya Tovar. He's very loving with her. He's very happy little boy. His daycare says he's the happiest child they've seen. He gets everything he needs or could want. And we are in agreement of him being placed there.
Okay. And can you state why you believe it's in the, or is there anything else in addition you'd like to state with regard to the best interests of the child, either with regard to termination or for the placement?
Just that not knowing who the father is and not having any contact with the mom or anything. His bond has been with these people, with both families. They have been a constant in his life since he was born. And this is, to him, his family.
So
They
main
treat
plan-
him like their own.
So the plan is to go then exclusively with Ms. Tovar? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And is she expected to be a prospective adoptive placement?
Yes, she is. She wants custody of him. She would love to be his full-time mother.
Okay. But does that include actually adopting and making this child her own child?
Yes. She has told me that has been her wish for quite a while.
Okay. Mr. Nisenbach, do you have any questions from Ms. Marita?
Yes, Ms. Marita, it's just a couple of questions. Have you seen or have any knowledge whether the parent, Samantha Isaacs, has demonstrated any parental abilities for Liam Tucker?
I have not. I have not been in contact with her. Both placements have told me no contact with them either.
Okay. And do you believe that Ms. Torres can provide for this child's current and future physical and emotional needs?
Yes, and she does have a full village there helping her.
And have you seen Ms. Torres interact with this child, Liam Tucker?
Yes. Very loving.
Pass this witness.
Mr. Jenkins,
No questions, Judge.
Mr. McDonald,
No questions, Your Honor.
is there any argument, Mr. Nizenblatt, that you'd like to make?
No, Your Honor, I believe we can stand on the testimony presented in the evidence that this court has taken judicial notice about in the file.
Mr. Jenkins?
Your Honor, I believe that Ms. Isaacs does know how to contact me. None of my contact information has changed. I did receive a letter from her and phone calls at the beginning of the case. It's obvious that she's been incarcerated for most of the time, but it would be easy to just assume that I represent a mother, so we're opposed to termination. But I don't know that. And I can maybe just infer, as can the court, from her actions during this case, that it's possible that she's not opposed to it. But I can't really argue one way or the other because I haven't spoken to her in a very long time.
Mr. McDonald?
I'm in agreement with Mr. Nizenblatt on everything that he just said. Since the mother's not present in the child's life and the department's done everything that they can to contact her, I guess incarceration is something to take into consideration, but she put herself there in a sense. And I just agree with what the department and CASA and Mr. Nizenblatt has says in this case. And I think the best interest of the child is to remain where she is with Tana Tovar and just continue going from here.
Okay. Mr. Nizenblatt, anything in reply? Or are you prepared for the ruling?
No, Your Honor, we're prepared for the ruling.
Okay. The court will find that the statutory prerequisites for termination of the mother's rights and the unknown father's rights have been met. It is in the best interest of the child that the parental rights be terminated. They are hereby terminated. The department is named as permanent managing conservator, and the placement with Ms. Tovar is approved. Okay, thank you. Parties are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.